evening, everybody. Hopefully, everyone's doing good. Oh, excuse me. On this Tuesday night, garbage night here in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. I just finished up a members only live. We had a really good time talking about the funniest calls I've been on. I could do 20 of them, and a lot of the ones you're not going to believe, but they happen. So tonight is going to be just like the title says, a true crime potpourri. We're going to talk about a couple different things. I do want to show you a couple things about Delphi, a couple things I commented on, where I explained the comment. They might be good attorneys, but they're shit at picking witnesses, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I definitely want to talk about Vince McMahon, that documentary on Netflix that came out, whether you're into wrestling or not. Oh, excuse me. Some rough indica there. And that's turning into an interesting case study on people get power, why they want power. Rex Huerman, a couple things to show you on him, and then Puff Daddy, what's going on with that. Let me just say this about Puff Daddy. I think if this goes to trial, and if all the people that are going to get wrapped up in this that I think are, it's going to be the biggest trial probably in American history, right? Bigger than OJ, bigger than the Menendez, whatever big trials that you want to talk about, Rodney King, all those type of things. I think this is going to be the biggest, and here's my reasoning why, because it's going to intertwine everything. Sports, music, politics, movies. I mean, this is the one that could maybe turn the page on what's been going on, but we'll see what happens there. But let's get into it. My Wolverines won this weekend, a tough game. I don't bet on them against the spread too much, especially not this year, but we'll take the win. And, we got to tip your hat to the Colts if you're a Steelers fan. We didn't get it done. Colts played well. Joe Flacco, who we owned for so many years when he was with Baltimore, came back to bite us again. But if you ask any Steeler fan right now and said, would you take Joe Flacco as your quarterback, the answer would probably be yes. You're going to lose the ability of running and moving around, stuff like that, but Flacco could still throw the ball. He still can drop back and rip it. And I bet you a lot of you didn't know he started at Pitt, the University of Pittsburgh, and then he went to Delaware. He wasn't good enough to play at Pitt, apparently. Yeah, right. I know what you mean. Ron Logan in here early. Good to see you, Ron. Oh, I hope you were in here. Yeah, you were in here super early. So, Ron, at 6 o'clock, I had a members only live. Kathy's looking forward to some brisket. Ron probably really makes really good brisket. The Butch oven. You're going to have to help me with that. I'm a city slicker. 20 donkeys. Always good to see Ron. Good to see you, Kathy. Good to see you, Mustang. Olivia. Nana. Good to see all you guys tonight. Honeybee. Good to see you. Hey, Tech Death. How are you? Good to see you. Jill Moser. Let me know how you like my new opening. I do one like every other month. I told you guys that before. I like to keep changing it. Tech Death made me remember that because Tech Death and Grismatically Clever are my two favorite intro makers. Or I'm sure they're not. They just don't make intros. But Kristen's Behind the Crime Doors is really, really good. I think hers probably be around my favorites. I like Frank Meister's a lot too, and I like the one that Grizz did for me also. But I'm kind of getting into making the videos a little bit. Jill, good to see you. If I didn't say hi to you already. And this one, you see the pumpkins in the background with the girls, so I thought that was cool. What is up, Cryptex? How are you? Good to see you. Jinx, as always, is in here. I was just laughing with her. Hey, Shane. Good to see you. How are you today? Gibbo. Yeah, and you know what, Gibbo? I've changed my form a little bit. About 6 weeks ago, I started getting into working out again, which I needed to do. Hey, Scarlett, good to see you. You know what I'm going to do real fast here. If you give me a second, I'm going to share the link if anybody wants to come up and talk about anything that I'm talking about or any other thing that true crime related. Doesn't have to be Delphi 4. It could be anything. Give me 1 second just to copy and paste this and put this in our stream. So if anybody's interested, I'd love to have you. You could come up. If you don't want to show your face, that's fine. Just, I can be able to see who you are. Okay, it's in there. What do we got here? Oh, Honeybee, 5 more. I appreciate it so much, Honeybee. I think that's 15 you bought now for my members. I appreciate you greatly. I'm sure Jinx probably already shared Honeybee's channel, but like I always do, the Wild West stuff she does is really, really good. If you're into that, and I am. The Flora 4. Scout, good to see you. I'm going to talk to you in a little while. I'm going to talk to you about that one live and see how you liked it, and you can send me an email. You might not think what I think about that, Scout, about that live that we discussed. That's okay. Miranda says hi to everybody. That's fine to do, Miranda. We appreciate you being here. I think Vincent got screwed out. Yeah, it's going to be, it's, I don't know if you've read the documents. They are, I don't have I'm not going to show the documents or nothing like that, but they're readily available. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's almost like Mr. McMahon, the character, times 10. You know how crazy he was when he was a character, and that was his big thing. What is up, Brandon? No problem, brother. One of the storylines, if you watch the Netflix series, I highly recommend. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to really like that Netflix series. They did a good job with it. It is he pitched a storyline where his daughter got pregnant and he impregnated her. Vince. But I'm going to talk about him, and we're going to understand why he hates women, because he hates women. Fields, yeah. They talk about Wilson maybe coming back. I don't know. There's rumors going around here today that the Dolphins might be trying to get Wilson. We were 3-0 going into Indy, but Fields he didn't turn it over. Now he's turning it over. The defense played really well, but the Colts, Taylor and Flacco, kind of had our number. I'm not really sure, Scout. Maybe someone can help you. And I'm not sure who got the memberships either. But thank Honeybee for those. There's Honeybee's channel. Yeah, I'm sorry, Scott. I'm not sure how to do that. Maybe since I launched memberships that I should figure that out. What is up, MF Witchy? Good to see you. Yeah, no problem, Tech Death. I don't know. Do you actually play that? I mean, you play that guitar? I like that. Like that. I'm born in '79, so like a lot of them, 12, 13 years old, like a lot of the Kiss songs at the time and things like that, where they were just like that long electric guitar. I think that's really cool, and it's especially for like a true crime, like spooky background. Real Dragon, what is happening? I was listening to you guys live while I was making chicken stir fry, your guys from last night. I should say the gunshots, Real Dragon. Yeah, man, you're a man after my own heart. Because unfortunately, I hear pops go off too, and it's just like, and it's unfortunate that we get used to things like that, but we do. What is up, CJK? Rice out for the season? Is that official yet? I have him on my fantasy team. They let me move him to IR already. Here's the StreamYard if anyone wants to come up. But let me get into what I'm talking about here. I love talking to you guys and saying hi to everybody. Make sure I got everybody mentioned so far. Always good to hear and see you, Kathy. I'm not going to make the walk this time, which is it's just with moving in and everything else. It's just I can't do it. Dave, what is up, Dave? Dave has a great channel. I catch some replays because there's always overnight here in Jinx. Why should I not be surprised? Good to see you, Sparky. Mustang, that's what it's all about. And as long as that's in your heart, we are okay. You don't have to believe Richard Allen's guilty or innocent. Yeah, the Browns are the Browns, Tech Death. I told my kids the Cleveland Browns haven't been good since I'm like 5 years old. Really, legitimately. Like we worried about. And I'm 45. And that's when the drive happened. Anyone remembers that? Elway. Oh, Scout, welcome. Glad you figured it out. And I'm sorry that I could not tell you how to do it, but you figured it out. Somebody's having a conversation. I'm not sure what it's about there. I must have missed it. Sorry about that. Anyways, Delphi Dummies, the very talented and very funny Delphi Dummies. Anytime anyone would make a video mocking me or making fun of me, whether I knew the person or not, I would always, if it's funny, I'm going to laugh. I'm okay with it. So, okay. So a couple of things I like to show you. Let me get into it and let me know what you think about it. I mentioned this on my porch talk yesterday. Get back into the old Gmail. Why did it go there? Hold on a second. Try that again. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. That's why. Yeah. I'm so proficient at these machines here. All righty. The things that I wanted to show you guys. I always get things to go to work for sports. And I think it's this one. Nope, not that one. I will show that to you too, because I was talking to someone, and I'm so sorry, I can't remember. It wasn't through email. It was in conversations on one of my videos, and I can't think of who it was. But a couple YouTubers went out and took a canoe trip and showed the water, and they said, "Well, where's the water in relation to that day?" And I actually had charge because there was a YouTuber that extensively researched that, and I have that to show you. That is from roughly 2 weeks ago. I think I was told this is whenever they did their live. If it fell in between there, if you saw that. And I also have to preface this by saying I think Indiana's had similar weather to us, where we've had like a drought, not just a drought, but a drought. Okay, so that's really low, and you see it going from anywhere from almost, it's under 2 feet the whole time. 1.74 was kind of the 21st there, but let me go back and then show you the other thing. And I apologize because I cannot remember. Not only can I not remember what email order I sent shit in, but I cannot remember who I was talking to about that. I think this is that's something else. I do apologize. Unless it's in the same one. Maybe it's in the same one. No. I wanted to show you this, though. I'll get back. Well, I'm not going to get back to that because that sucks. Leave you hanging. Let me show you the other thing. Anyways, I have the thing, from the day. Maybe I don't. That's what I thought I said it. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm not a man of my word. I apologize. I thought for sure I did, but I guess I didn't. Well, anyway, let's get back to the Delphi thing I wanted to show you. We'll start talking about that first. And I sent it with the Delphi thing. That's what I did. I made a mistake. But anyways, I'm going to get you to this tab here. I'll wait for you guys to show up. And I'm going to read this. This is the Tobin testimony. So Tobin's a metallurgist. He's that's what he's specialty he's in. We talked about the Caden Smith case, during the Caden Smith case, Baldwin, and I think it was actually Hennessy worked on that case. I could be mistaken. I know Baldwin was involved, but he's a metallurgist. So they want to use him as an expert in the tool mark evidence. And he was not allowed to testify in the Caden Smith case. And Nick McClelland's asking for him not to be testified in this case. But if you guys have seen this, I'm not going to read this to you. Frank and Kristen read it. Let Deb read it to you if you want. A lot of other people have shared it. Read it. Listen to it and read it. And so it's a flawed methodology. So everyone that does it, it's a flawed methodology. But let me just show you this. And, Nick McClelland kind of, taken out, he's kind of teeing off a little bit here, as we would say. So the AFT, the Association of Firearm and Tool Mark Examiners theory of identification, and this theory is what all firearms follow, whether or not they are members. Miss Oberg is going to be the prosecution. She worked for the firearms branch for the Indiana State Police. So this is where he really gets into it here. And let me know what you think about this, because, I mean, is the defense not cutting off its own legs, so to speak? And this is what I mean when I say they pick shitty witnesses. Mr. Tobin is not an expert in the field of firearm examination, unlike another listed defense witness, Dr. Eric Warren. So Dr. Eric Warren is going to say, yes, I agree with the prosecution that this is a science. However, my science says that it's not the same weapon, is what he's going to say, right? So, like the state's expert witness, Ms. Oberg is not only a member of AFTE, but holds or has held leadership positions within it. So that's Dr. Eric Warren. Mr. Tobin's testimony, expected testimony, will be that all firearms examiners, including Ms. Oberg and Dr. Warren, followed a flawed methodology. So why in the world would the defense put on a witness that's going to attack one of their other witnesses? I mean, we've seen the Perlmutter just absolute debacle. And the other thing is, this guy hasn't seen like any evidence here. He hasn't seen evidence on this case. He just says that the theory that they used to determine it is bullshit. And listen, I'm okay with that. If you have proof that theory is bullshit, then you don't necessarily have to see the evidence. If they're citing a flawed theory, but I don't think personally it's a flawed theory. The courts in Indiana certainly don't think it's a flawed theory. Dr. Warren, who is a defense witness, is going to say that he uses the same methodology, except he came up with a different, I used adding and subtracting, but I got 3 instead of 4. And, that's how they do it. So that to me is absolutely crazy. Like, how could the state or how could the defense let that happen? I don't understand it one iota. And again, it's his expected testimony based on depositions. So they already kind of know what these people are going to say. And they're going to cite depositions in here. However, the state believes that Mr. Tobin, who's not an expert in the field of firearms examination. That's a fact. They don't have to say they believe that. That's a fact. He's not listed as that. Lacks the qualifications to testify, blah, blah, blah. And they list a couple other things here. And then it's this Indiana REVID. I don't even know what the heck that is. And then the Caden Smith case was the case that I was talking to you about, where he was not allowed to testify based on he's a metallurgist or an expert in the metal. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that that's something, or do you think it's just, explain it to me. So if you think that the defense is doing a good job, Richard Allen's is innocent, that's fine. Why would the defense have contradicting witnesses like that? I picked that out right away. I was like, oh, wait a minute here. If this guy's saying that all this is bullshit, OnlyFans. I wouldn't call it that, Gibbo. I wouldn't call it that. It would be more than $1.99 if it was OnlyFans. Or maybe $1.99 would be too much. Kathy's outside playing ball with Otto. Yeah, it's not bad here. It's getting chilly, but we have a nice day today. We've had some rain, but I can't complain about it. And especially with, prayers and thoughts and good vibes, whatever you have to all those folks in the South and the Midwest area that just got hammered. absolutely hammered. Oh, I didn't see him come in. JJ, go blue. Looks like I'm missing a good conversation here because people reckon the girls would be in Allen's wet, drenched. Yeah, it was. Ah, damn it. Hold on. Give me a second here. I'm going to send that because I swore that I sent that. Let me look up my screenshots here because I think it's like three. I don't even want to tell you the incorrect thing. Where did I just have that at? Golly, I'm not gonna be able to find it now. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, hold on a second. Yep, I got it. Give me 1 second as I send this to my Gmail, and I'll pull it up. Yeah, it was around 3 feet. Here, I'll get it for you now. We can look at it if that helps anybody. I mean, and here's the other thing too. You have to remember that the creek bottom isn't a flat, necessarily flat surface. So you're going to have spots where silt deposit, different things come up, and you might have, it might be 2 feet over here, and it might be 6 inches over here, and near the island there, or the little island, there, the place that they went over, you would kind of think that it'd be more shallow there. Again, this was a YouTuber that did this information. And as you can see, we have 0 military time, 0, 100, or I don't even know how the fuck you say that, 0 o'clock and 12 o'clock. That's PM. So if you're looking here, you're about 3.75, so 3 3/4 feet of water. That's at midnight on February 13th. So at noon on February 13th, it had dropped a significant amount, according to this chart. But at the end of the day, it's about, what it'd be, maybe 2 inches of water. And so if your best guesstimate is somewhere in here, would be the time they cross the creek. So you are at about maybe 3 feet, 3.33 feet roughly in that vicinity, maybe a little bit more. And again, if you go back to that other chart where it's 1.78 feet, so it's like a foot and a half deeper. But again, remember, the water's moving fast. So that's your gauge height for feet. You would measure, there's other things you can measure, discharge and things like that. And you could try to get an idea of how fast that the actual water was moving. And it could have been moving really quick. I mean, the videos that I have, even the intro video that I showed today, is a big, the water's really moving. And I don't know if it was necessarily that high. We had some rain earlier in the week, so I'm guessing it was higher than usual, but the show's not over, JJ. You're plenty of time. Not even half over yet. The girls were found nearly 21 hours later. Doubt the clothes that were found would be overly saturated. Yeah, it's odd because so the temperature went down into the 40s, and then are they going to be wet? Is it going to dry? Are they going to have almost like frost kind of on them, and could that later turn into water? It's a good point. Far as we know, I'm pretty sure there was no rain that night, so yeah, you and Shane both bring up good points on it. Oh no, hopefully you figure it out there, JJ, and we have you in there. What's up again, Melissa? Oh, good, you're back. You got it. Two totally different conditions: jeans and a washer. People asking the creek. Well, if you put jeans in a water, at the beginning or the end of the cycle. Auto. Our friend Otto. Yeah, follow Randy. Again, October 13th. I don't know if I said that in this live yet, but October the 13th. Gee, sounds like a plane's crashing outside. Thank you, CJK. Like, share, subscribe if you think I do good. OnlyFans, the chicken dance. Well, hey, I give you guys your money's worth. What is up, Cindy? Trace evidence. So yeah, I would think that there'd be something like that. I would think so, Dave. I really would. Again, this is all like, and we're all conjecturing right now. We're all talking, and that's perfectly fine. But like, to get to know that we're this close. And again, I only came into studying this in 2021. So I'm 4 years. It's actually like 3.5 years after this happened. But to go through everything everyone went through for all them years, and then there's an arrest, and there's information, there's a flood of information, then it's quiet, then there's a flood of information, and it's just like to actually know that we might here in court, if you're there live, or later through transcripts, have the Nick McClellan say this is what we think happened, because the defense is never going to say that in open court, and Richard Allen's never going to say that unless he pleads out and allocutes to say this is what we think happened. So you have the official police theory, what they thought, step by step. So all these things, how do we get this? How do we go from here to here? Things we might not know is the search warrants. How do we go from, Bicycle Bridge Road to the Kleins to Ron Logan? Like, how did that work? We might not hear that, because if they're not part of the case, or if they vetted them out and said, hey, they're alibi out, they didn't do it, we got to move on. Maybe we never will get that. Yeah, it's definitely possible. Remember them? That was Chuck Taylor's. I know I had a couple of pair of them worn a long time. That canvas is really thin. If you had like some Nike basketball shoes or something, or some of the older ones that they get like waterlogged. But I'm not sure how that would work with the it was cold. You get that like Boston Christian. What is up? How are you? Thank you, JJ. But yeah, all very good questions. The metal dude, only thing I could think of be useful because the bullet wasn't fired. Well, the only way he could be an expert is if it was something on the metal itself. Nothing to do with any kind of ballistics or back or pre-ballistics, whatever people want to call it. There's the prayer walk. Always, always, always. For the floor girls, of course. Yes, Deb's True Crime Notebook. JJ got in the case after he was arrested. A lot of people did that too. Testify about how metal on metal reacts with each other, etc. Could contradict. Yeah, but Scarlett, what do you think if he contradicts their own witness? But his thing is, I don't think that that's what he's going to do, because they cite him in his deposition, what he says, that it's all flawed science. It's a pseudoscience, or it's a flawed science. So it appears that he's going to reject their other witnesses, what he says too. But anyways, that was my big thing on that. Hey, Kathy, we know you always feel that way. For sure. Anything else on Delphi, you could email me. Anything on Flora, always, Kevlar148hotmail.com. If you're watching this later and you want to leave a comment and disagree or agree or whatever, is absolutely fine. So Vince McMahon. So let's talk Vince McMahon. You don't got to be a wrestling fan for this. Some of us are. I know some of us talk about it. I don't know if Frank's in here tonight. Talk about wrestling with Frank all the time. I don't watch the new stuff anymore that much. There's a couple guys that I like. One of them has been hurt, so I kind of got away. But I like the old stuff and hearing stories. So Vince McMahon did a Playboy interview where he alluded to certain abuses he took as a child. Now, let me tell you a little bit of background about Vince McMahon. This is how this goes into true crime. And we talk about how killers, mothers, it's the mothers. It's always something with the mother. And yeah, the dad could be this or the dad could be that, but it's usually the mother with boys. And then the father with the dad, or the daughter with the dad. You know, she's acting out, she's making her dad mad. Dad said you can't do this, blah, 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 or whatever the case may be. But let's talk about sons and mothers. So Vince McMahon did not know that his dad was Vincent McMahon until he was 12 years old. He lived in a trailer in North Carolina. Vince McMahon apparently had some kind of little fling with his mother, got pregnant, and he didn't even know his real name until he was 12 years old. Ted Bundy, right? Ted Bundy had an identity crisis, whether his grandpa was his dad or not. He never knew his real dad, but there was certainly thoughts in his head that he thought that his grandpa could have been his dad. So we flash back to that there, okay? Vince McMahon also alludes that he had a stepfather who was very abusive, would beat him every day. That made Vince McMahon tough. He was an alcoholic. And Vince McMahon regretted that he said this in an interview, he regretted that he did not live long enough, his stepfather, that Vince wanted to kill him. He wished he had lived longer so he could kill him. But, you know, whether he'd have done it or not, I don't know. And then the other thing that Vince alludes to is his mother actually molested him at a very young age, and that for a boy is absolutely crippling, as you can imagine. Gary Ridgway had a similar thing. His mother wasn't necessarily molesting him, but he would have enuresis. He would wet the bed, and she would be insistent on cleaning him herself up to 12 and 13. And one time her bathrobe opened up, and he said in that moment he wanted to have sex with his mother and kill her at the same time. So you have that early sex and violence linking up. And Vince McMahon was never a serial killer. But I'm going to tell you something. Vince McMahon is 100%, in my opinion, very amateur opinion, a sociopath. He is a fucking sociopath. I don't think he's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. And he's mastered and manipulated. He didn't have control for 12 years. Okay, he didn't have control for 12 years of his life. And every day after that, he wanted to be in absolute control. So he has a girl in his office. He's doing things with her, whether she wanted to do it or not. He met her in his apartment. There's stories where he's pimping her out, sexual trafficking accusations to other wrestlers, to other things like that. Some of the other things, and this is kind of funny, but it's also sick. Vince McMahon had female sex toys. I guess I could say it on here, dildos. And they were different sizes, shapes, and colors. And he named them after wrestlers. And he would, use it. I don't have a good Vince McMahon impression, like, get in there, Lesnar, or something like that. So, I mean, this guy was fucking so far out there. Now, he's tied up into a lot of heavy industry jargon and stuff like that, and people and big players. Remember, his wife was in Trump's cabinet, so they're hooked up politically too. If you ever want to laugh, whether you like Donald Trump or not, go watch whenever he was on and he jumped Vince McMahon, shaved his head, because they've been long friends for a long time. But if you read the documents, the lawsuit, and at this point it's just a lawsuit, he paid off women, he had sexual, trysts, he did this, he harassed people, he did all kind of just absolutely insane things. Sexually was very, very, he was probably into, oh God, I don't even know. They talked about him defecating on a woman's head and other things like that. I mean, if you want to go through there and read it, you're better off and have some of these funny old wrestling announcers read it, talk about it, and laugh. But it's absolutely insane. But it's a guy with power. We see that. Your Epstein's. The next guy we'll tie into, Puff Daddy. It's like they have so much power and they've conquered the universe that just, hey, having one woman isn't enough. You have to dominate people. And what's been passed on, in my opinion, since the beginning of the big industries, Hollywood, the music business, is they control people by using sex. And they use sex and they dominate them and they use control over them. So let's get a little into Puff Daddy. And I said this before. Puff Daddy, in my opinion, when this goes to trial, if this goes to trial and works like I think it is, I think it's going to be the biggest case in American history up to this time. Maybe in 5 years it'll be something different, because I think he brings sports, music, entertainment, and politics all together. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that knew about these parties. There are a lot of people that knew what he did. The mayor of New York is arrested. Does it have to do with Puff Daddy? They're saying, I think it does. I think it does, whether they tell you that it is or not. He had police officers bought off, precincts bought off. I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce are next, and I'm hearing backdoor rumors. They sound good. They sound substantiated, but no one big is going with them yet that I've seen that Beyonce's cooperating and is going to say this. And I used to be a huge, there's Frank. Frank, that's why I didn't answer your call before. I was doing members only. Hopefully, Frank's been updating me on celebrity deaths. Hopefully no one else died. I'm talking about Puffy, Frank. And it's just, I mean, here's why it has all the elements of it's scintillating, right? This guy was buying baby oil by the goddamn fucking container ship. He was having freak offs. He was having sex with men, with women, with, as far as we don't know, haven't heard any allegations of children yet. But when people were into all this stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some skirting in the line with that too. The murders, people around him. Now, did he kill this one? Did he kill that one? I'm not saying he did or not. Did he put a hit out on Tupac for $1 million? Sound like it. Sound like Eric Von Zip kept the money and opened a nightclub with it, which is awesome. And you got to remember too that Puff Daddy's dad was a little bit in the game. He was a street dude. He wasn't like no big player or anything like that. He wasn't no boss, but he was a street dude. Clive Davis, right? Clive Davis is going to come up prominently in this, in my opinion. Clive Davis, the music mogul, worked with Whitney Houston, very well known. I think he was with Sony. I think it's coming out. He's going to be involved in this. This is going to shake the rafters to pop culture. That's the best way to put it. Pop culture in general. There's athletes, there's other rappers. There's stories of him nicking other rappers' drinks and sexually taking advantage of them. Now, let me explain this to you. It's the 1990s. Right? And these rappers, these guys are street guys. They're tough guys. The last thing they're ever going to tell anyone is if they were sexually assaulted. They're not going to give that up for nothing because they think that's going to make them look weak. They're never going to go to the police. So Puff Daddy does this to them. He has control over them now. He has psychological control. He videoed these things. He has total control. Total control. Frank mentioned in the Biggie angle too. I don't know. I've heard it too. And Craig Mack, you go back to Craig Mack, the Tupac money. Me and Frank have talked about this before. We need to do a show on this one time with Keefe D. Keefe D was in the car that shot Tupac. He went on multiple podcasts and told the story about what happened. Police corroborated it, and finally they arrested him. And he looks like he's done. And then he's going to rat on Puffy. He ratted before. He was a proffer guy before. But Puffy has these keys to all these different things. And I know people say, oh, they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. I don't think they're going to kill him. I think Puffy's going to have some insane legal team, an all-star O.J. Simpson type legal team. And that's what he's going to bring it with. And they're going to just to try to attack everybody and go and do everything they can do. But it is it's insane how far I think this is going to reach, to be perfectly honest with you. Conspiracy within conspiracy make people impossible. Well, yeah. And you got to keep in mind, too, the other thing that's working in Puffy's favor, along with the murders I'm talking about, with, Shine, the rapper, took the gun charge for Puffy and J-Lo. Does J-Lo and Ben Affleck breaking up have anything to do with this? Or is Ben Affleck finally like, I'm out of here? And J-Lo, God, she got more rings than a Jeter, I think, now at this point, huh? Boom. How you doing, Stella? Yeah, they are. They're absolutely manipulative. Rafael Perez, there you go. Biggie was huge. But remember, you got to keep this in mind, too. I came out when Biggie was out, right? I haven't followed that too much, but someone else that killed a rapper got sentenced. They got found guilty. I can't think of who it was. I don't know any of the new ones, but you keep this in mind with Biggie, too. Biggie came out. Biggie only had one album out, basically, when he was alive. That was the Ready to Die album. Life After Death, if I'm not mistaken, came out like a week or 10 days after he died. I don't think he got to enjoy any of that. Or if it was, it was immediately after. But they were on the West Coast. publicizing the album. You know what I mean? And his head security guy was like, "You should not be going out there right now. You should not be going out there because." Listen, Tupac really hated these guys. They really hated each other. Okay, there was things that happened. The Dog Pound was in New York City doing a video supposed to be a tribute to New York City. Biggie got on the radio on like Hot 97 and was like, "You're cool with Dog Pound just rolling up in your neighborhood?" And someone went and shot their trailer up that they were in. So they changed. This is what the Snoop says. They changed the song to be a diss song about New York. And in the video, they're walking through New York and they're kicking buildings down and stuff like that. Mobb Deep followed up with the song LA, LA, because their song was New York, New York. And, but it's just Craig Mack getting killed, like all these things and all these people that were around him, you know, getting screwed on deals. Biggie got screwed on his deals, his publishing. He was getting ready to leave. But where does this tie in? I see a couple people that said they don't like, that was a Triple X. I don't know how you say the guy's name. For those of you that don't like this type of music, why would you care about this rap case? Okay. In my opinion, here's why. Because in my opinion, this is going to encompass politicians. This is going to encompass Hollywood. You remember Puffy was in everything, and rap and like sports kind of go together. Country music and football like goes together. You know what I mean? But to me, rap, like rappers hang out with football players, basketball players, whoever, and that's intertwined. So there's a lot of athletes, and I'm not going to name any names here. Not that any of these athletes will care, or enough people watch this channel for it to make a difference. But your jaw is going to drop when you hear, he was at Puffy Freak-Offs. You know what I mean? Like prominent in New York, you know, not just New York, but New York, Atlanta, places where Puffy was at. It's kind of jaw dropping on what goes on. Now there's CEOs of boards that are resigning. Is that something that's tied in with this? I don't know. Did that just normally happen? But there's all kind of shit that's going to be brought up, and politically, in my opinion, former presidents, you know, people like Oprah, like it's going to be across all lines. All the people are going to be rich. That's the only thing that they're going to have in common, right? They're going to be black, white, American, non-American, men, women, transsexual, bisexual, pansexual. It's going to be everything, but all these people are going to have money. And from what I understand too, is there's legions of people that are now kind of coming forward. Some of these guys that were rappers are now, you know, in their 40s, my age or older, and they've suffered trauma from this. They've had to seek help and said, you know, because they were, you know, SA'd by this guy, whether they remember it or not. So I don't know if that's good or bad, Stella, but we'll see. And again, she's just a name that's being vaunted about right now. Nixon. JJ Nixon was involved in a ton of bad shit, but I don't think they're going to get Tricky Dick on this one. Again, that's just a name that's being thrown out there because of her ties to other people. And you know, you got to look at Puff Daddy, who he was tight with, his immediate circle, and then those people's immediate circle. Because now there was a lot of people that went to these parties. And not every party that he had turned into an absolute drug sex fest. I never heard of pink cocaine before Puff Daddy. He was doing pink cocaine. I don't know what that is. Cocaine was never really my thing. Tried it before, absolutely. Done it before, but yeah. John of God. I don't remember. My mom watched Oprah, But again, I just want you guys, if you're into it, and if you're not into rap, I get it. Like, you know, my girlfriend's not into rap really at all. But I'm not into today's rap. But my kids are. I mean, I like Young Jeezy still. He's good, but everyone else is kind of, I don't know. But that's just my 2 cents. Saw a really good Allman Brothers tribute band. They're really good. Allman Brothers and this band, they were great. Ron Logan has an idea. Pink Hooch. Avoid the purple. So there you go from Ron Logan. That's a free tip from Ron Logan. The pink hooch is good, but avoid the purple. Pink champagne, pink cocaine. Is that a song? Is that from a song? Nipsey Hussle was murdered because he called. Oh, wow. Oh, Junior Johnson, JJ lived in Colombia for 7 years. I don't know if you ever partook or not. You can tell us or you don't have to, but Holy mackerel. I like coffee in the morning. I'm good. I'm short out of a cannon. I don't really need it. I agree with you. Even some early 2000 stuff, I liked Mustang. But the new stuff, I'm just not into it. You know, there was like a message too. Whether you agree with the message or not, there was a message. There was a lot of social messages. I just don't see that today. Oh yeah. Well, that's absolutely another thing. Beating his girlfriend on TV. And when someone acts like that and goes after someone with that much viciousness, aggravated assault while they're on the ground, it isn't the first time they did it. It's not the first time he put his hands on a woman, for sure. But again, like Clive Davis, just keep eyes out, because I don't know how this stuff's going to come out or how it's going to drop. There's a lot of good. If you're into, if you ever watch Vlad TV, he interviews a lot of rappers and a lot of athletes, but he interviews like a lot of interesting people, like off the chart, people I never heard of before. There's a lot of interviews on that. If you're into the Tupac thing at all, there's a lot of information out there. But I just ask you to watch the Puffy as we get going. Pitbull Mom is a big Eminem fan. I like Eminem. I haven't listened to any early stuff really. I think it was his second album. I really, really like. Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on Oprah one way or the other. Like I said, my mom liked her, but oh yeah, cocaine is absolutely horrible drug. That's most of the drugs around here are cocaine based or heroin. We don't have the meth and stuff like that. And I always thought that was because people that can't get cocaine in rural areas make their own with meth, but I guess it's some will argue meth is worse. Boys in the Hood are always hard. Some NWA from Frank Meister there. JJ pleads the fifth. You're a smart man. You're a smart man. You're like when the mall bosses go in front of some kind of hearing. I pled the fifth for 155 questions. What's your name, sir? I'd like to use my Fifth Amendment privilege, which is always funny. And there's nothing they can do. So here's a little bit of political tidbit for you. I was at a fundraiser for a guy that's running for Attorney General of Pennsylvania. Here's an interesting thing. Eugene D. Pasquale played at the University of Pittsburgh, played against one of my high school teammates, Brandon Short from McKeesport. And he's like, yeah, Brandon hit me, and I said, hey, good hit. And he's like, he looked at me and said, shut up, bitch. And I'm like, well, he's from the port, man. That's how we're going to talk on the field. He's like, no, we became friends. I talked to him after. He apologized. And you didn't have to say you're sorry. But anyways, he's running for Attorney General of Pennsylvania. Our old Attorney General was Josh Shapiro, who's now the governor. I'm going to tie this all together in a second. So this guy that's running against him, his last name's Sunday. I don't know his first name. Jeff Yaz, who owns TikTok, this is the guy, Sunday's a Republican, gave him $10 million. What the fuck does the guy that runs TikTok or created TikTok or owns TikTok care about who the Attorney General in Pennsylvania is? And I was like, why? And everyone in the room, they're like way more politically savvy than I am as far as state level things. Like they all seem to know. And I thought that was very interesting. But here's something that was talked about there. If Kamala Harris wins for president, there's a good chance that Pennsylvania's governor, Josh Shapiro, will become the Attorney General of the country. He'd be like Bobby Kennedy 2.0, right? Let's not go after the mafia again. We saw what happened last time we did that. That's not a good thing. But Josh Shapiro is known here in Pennsylvania, very popular guy. Certainly, if she would have picked Josh Shapiro for running mate, she'd have won Pennsylvania hands down. I don't know if she's going to win Pennsylvania now. And again, you know how I feel. I'm not a big fan of either side there, but I just wanted to give that to you. Why is the guy from TikTok cares so much about who's going to be the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, and look for possibly the governor of Pennsylvania to become Attorney General if Kamala Harris wins in the election in November. We shall see. Sniffing baking soda. Oh, people can use baking soda for cut. They usually use around here. Hey, big fish. Good to see you. Usually around here, they use like baby laxative or something. Video of her held hostage for days, taunting her. He said he was just relationship banter. Oh, let's talk about when we talk about doing stuff like this here before I get out of here. I want to get out of here in about 10 minutes or so. But let's get some Rex Heuermann stuff because I did want to talk about Rex Heuermann. I want to show you a couple of things. These things have been out for a while, but I don't know if I've ever showed him to you. And the human thing's heating up. I mean, you know, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Rex Human, Richard Allen, Mussolini, everybody, okay? But once they're proven guilty and once the evidence stacks up, we're not jurors, we're not judges, but we can come here and make our assumptions or educated guesses. And Rex Human looks really bad for a lot of things here. So I'll show you this real quick because I brought it up. I wasn't going to tonight. I mentioned this before. This is what I was talking about. I don't believe that Jerry Holman's able to say this lie without knowing it. We had this fucking round February 14th, 2017. So you're taking it from somewhere, put it there. You know, they just go on and on. But that's the thing that I go back on. It. I don't think he's allowed to lie right there. And the defense never jumped on that and said, hey, Jerry Holman was lying here. They talked about him lying about Elvis Fields. I think it was Elvis Fields or Brad Holder being a suspect. And his answer was not really. And they said he lied. So I don't know how saying not really could be a lie. But anyways, there was the height recently that you saw in the video again. Again, we go back from, it was about 1.75, 1.78 feet to what it was before. About 3 feet, 3.35 feet roughly. Sorry, guys, wrong one. I thought I had the right one this time. There's Rex Huerman. So a while back, Rex Huerman's computer, he had lists of different things, stuff like that, you know, things that he should have, things that he should watch. So he had a list. This is one of the lists. And this is how, I mean, obviously organized, right? We asked if whoever did Delphi, if he was organized, unorganized. This is clear organization to a T. And it's odd because his house looked like kind of like ramshackle. You know what I mean? It wasn't taken care of. John Douglas uses the word fastidious. These guys fastidious, you know, BTK was fastidious, collar, perfect, tie, just perfect. So he's making these lists, things that he's looking out for, just like a general list. Things, if the truck gets stuck, you know, problems, the supplies he'll need. TRG, DS, dump site, small is good. TI, Megan. I mean, it's just, and they found this on a computer. This is when they went back, not the original search. Wash body inside and all cavities. He's talking about him, body prep for himself, remove trace evidence, fingerprints, hair, remove trace DNA, remove ID marks, tattoo. Actually, I'm sorry. He's talking about the woman here. Remove marks from torture, remove head and hands, package for transport. So these are things that he's doing, and these are what you would call a signature. It's not necessary to commit the murder, but it's helping him get away. Okay, he's very organized, and it would be like this would be what he would usually do. He doesn't need to do any of these things, and it's a forensic countermeasure. He doesn't need to do any of these things to unalive a girl, but it's his countermeasure. Dispose tools and devices, clothes, personal items, props, toys, wood items, anything that touched T1. So there you have it. Dispose a box of plastics to avoid trace. So all that stuff. And then we go back to the other thing what we talked about before, the unknown Asian male who was probably posing as a girl. Things don't happen to them like they did for the other victims. So he was tricked. He didn't know that was a guy. And maybe there'll be more information. Maybe there'll be more information in there somehow, some way, because that's not his normal signature. He didn't take all the forensic countermeasures and usual steps that he takes to get out of there. I don't know. Maybe she does. Broken windows theory too. I've heard people say that before. Yeah, I don't know her friend John of God. Snoop at Lincoln Park and Corn. That'd probably be a pretty cool show. Oh yeah. 50 Cent is so 50 Cent is, yeah, you could say he's a little bit of a jack off about things. He didn't like P. Diddy, and he thinks that he's, I haven't done any of this stuff. He's been accused of things by his ex-wife. He ended up suing her. Joey Gallo did the plead, the fifth during, oh yeah, with the sunglasses. Yeah, Joey Gallo, Crazy Joe. Many more will come forward, some who may be lying. Yeah, there'll be some people that want to glab on for sure. But I think that with the way things are now, and it's 30 years later, people are going to come. Maybe if they want to get a piece of the pie, but they could say, yes, I was at this party. I got, my drink spiked. They were specifically picking rappers on the come up out. And then Puff Daddy wouldn't have to sign them, give them a lot of money or give them a fair deal for what the work they were doing. So. Too Short. I had a lot of Too Short stuff. Too Short, I like. He never changed, man. There was different rap coming out, and Too Short was just Too Short. Young Dolph. Wu-Tang was my favorite rap. Rap started going downhill when Diddy started offing the good. Yeah, I mean, it's if they could link them to murder, I mean, they're going to. I mean, you had the Fed seize his house, handcuff his son. They did all kind of things like that. Yeah, well, whoever you're pulling for, but just it would be interesting to have a Pennsylvania governor as attorney general. But I don't know. I'll be honest, just as a total prognosticator, because I'm not a fan of either. I say that 100 times. I don't know if Trump might win Pennsylvania this time, just as total prognostication. From seeing signs and hearing people talk, and she could have locked it up with Shapiro. A lot of people are angry at her for not picking Shapiro. Pennsylvania's like, pick one of us. Oh, Miss Paradise, Weird Al Yankovic. I'm gonna have to watch it. I haven't watched that in a long time. Weird Al Yankovic's fantastic, except Rex. Rex is pretty bad, yeah. And Scout, that's that whole. I like that attorney John Ray a lot. Did you know that John Ray, real quick, before we get out of here, I want to tell you a real quick John Ray story. I've said it before. John Ray's the attorney for the victims of the Long Island serial killer, presumed to be Rex Heuermann. I don't think if I say this in my chat, anyone's going to get upset, but it looks like he did it, right? He looks really good for it. So he's the guy who's like the ponytail, bald head, very nice guy, very well spoken, really good attorney. So he's been the advocate and family attorney for years for Gilbert's mother before she passed away even, and he represents a few of the victims. So he does press conferences, but hey, I want to see this get moved forward. Says he has a good relationship with the police. I think the police placate him because they know he's powerful and he could go on TV and make him look real bad. So if John Ray wants something, he gets it. But if he's an attorney working for your family, isn't that what you want? That's exactly what you want. I think he's a good attorney. Anyways, he's at home one night. He gets home like 8 o'clock or something. They're having pizza for dinner. He gets home late, just orders some pizza. He gets a call, and there's a guy on the line, and he says, hey, I hope you enjoy the whatever kind of pizza you're eating. And it was like as if he was looking at them through the window at that time. Then he talked about his daughter who was away at college and what she had on and things like that. And, he called his daughter when he got off the phone, checked with her, says what she had on. Were you sitting by a window recently? Yeah, we were sitting over studying in the lounge on our floor or whatever the case was. So was it Heuermann? He never could prove it was him. Heuermann would pretty much have to admit that at this point. But we know Heuermann called victims. That is sadistic. When you call and harass victims of people that you've committed crimes against or their family members, you are the lowest of the low. He's getting a rise or a thrill out of inflicting pain. That is sadistic. But that's what Heuermann did. So was it him, John Ray? Did he call him? Because he knew Heuermann clearly followed the case like a lot of these guys do. So I just thought that was interesting. But there'll be more coming out there. And it looks like a solid investigation. And we've been going at it for quite a while with the court dates and stuff. And I can't even name Heuermann's attorney. Not that a lot's been going on, but he hasn't necessarily been out there. He did a press conference or two, but man, strongly Heuermann. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't hear him tied to that. I know that he had places in was it South Carolina or North Carolina, wherever it was. That's interesting, though. If you have anything, I'm really interested in that. Kevlar148hotmail.com if you want to email me, or if you want to put a link in a chat somewhere. I don't share anyone's email with anyone, even if they threaten me. If people threaten me before an email, I haven't shared it. Whoa. Yeah. And if you look at a lot of the girls, they look like his mom, right? I showed that on a video before. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. Press call 100%, and I don't think she had anything to do with anything. Yeah. Well, I see a lot of people thought that too. A lot of people thought that was overkill and inappropriate. What I think that Ray is doing, and this is my opinion, is he's trying to get to Huerman, and he's using his daughter to do it. So I could see how people could have problems with that. But if John Ray wants to get the truth for his family or whatever, I could definitely see that. They're very interesting. They're very interesting things to bring up. But clearly, someone dug into her quite a bit. Where did Rex Huerman learn all that shit? He's like a lot of killers. He's a study. He studied serial killers before. He's talked at parties and different people. He would talk about it. He would ask girls, "Who's your favorite serial killer?" To one girl he went out with. Or the first time they went out, who's your favorite serial killer? I think that he liked Bundy. Was it the Gary Ridgway? I'm not exactly sure. Absolutely. Can't say it any better. Shannon Gilbert. Yeah, that there's obviously other people there at that time. We don't know about her driver, that guy that was driving her. Just absolute craziness. I will, Stella. I will. I was going to anyway, because if someone drops something that I don't know, I always want to be like, who is that? Saw some scary stuff about people almost getting kidnapped or murdered, different people growing up. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, it can happen. I mean, the police are way better than they used to be. Oh, man. Coach Kev, amazing. Do you have a video? No. I've had like 2 or 3 zits in my life, and that's total genetics. I'm not. I don't have anything. I don't do anything. I don't exfoliate or anything like that. My girlfriend does all that, but I don't. So I'm fortunate in that. My eyesight isn't great. My hair, said goodbye to me a long time ago, but I'll take the good skin. Thank you. Yes. Well, he had that room that was soundproof. So I say yes, Scout. I say yes. And he was an architect. So he knew exactly what he was doing. Too many in YouTube. Yeah, and you know what? I think that once you get behind one line and you have to keep lying to keep that first lie propped up, and I think people just get. Yeah, anyone got anything for me? I'd love to hear from you. Send it to the Gmail. Or like I said, if you don't want to, some people are iffy about their emails. I won't share. I've never shared anyone's, but you could comment here or whatever. Oh, Ron Logan. Aspen Corner's great uncle Corky started cutting beans today. Oh, nice. Wow, outstanding. Uncle Corky. I think that's Aspen's favorite uncle, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully in a good way, Stella. Man, whatever's in the darn air again. I don't know, the tree dander or whatever. It's rain, so it should have been a little better. But I want to thank you all for coming in and spending tonight's hour with me. Coach Kev's Hair Products. That'll be a small line, JJ. That'll be a small line. Gillette razor, Gillette shaving cream. That's it. Hey, is Ruckus in here? I'm sorry if I didn't see him. Doing big work behind the scenes. We'll talk to him for a while. I'll talk to him soon. I want to talk about the Patriots when they're putting their rookie quarterback in, because I think it's time. Anyways, I want to thank you all for coming in. I did 2 tonight. I did my members only, and I did this one. If you have anything you want to add here, comment. I'll get to you whenever I see it. Kevlar148gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe. You thought I did a good job. Share everything that you can about Flora, Delphi. Follow your favorite creators, whoever they are. Support them. Like their videos. Engage in chat. Make them think. I know for me, I'm happy when people make me think. So every chat, one or two things. Stella sending me some stuff, and someone else said something in there today that made me think also, and they've done it before. So I appreciate that very much. And I talk to them on Discord now, so I'll send them a message telling them what I'm talking about. But I'm going to leave you to it. We're going to say tentacles. I'll be back with you soon. I go back to work Thursday, going back up to the weather capital of the world, Punxsutawney, Friday with Brooke to visit her cousin's son, senior rec for football. Her cousin, unfortunately, took her own life about 6 weeks ago. So we'll go up for support like we can and see all the groundhogs and stuff like that. It'd be good to see her family, too. It's a beautiful place. I'd move there. If I had a good job up there driving the Amish around or something, I swear to God I would. This city boy would be right the fuck out of the port and hanging out with the Amish. High as Chuck, but happy. Okay, everyone. Tentacles, I'm going to get out of here. Thank and love you all. Great chat as always. You brought it tonight. You made me think. You made others think, and everyone kept it very respectful. I have the best chat on YouTube. I'm sorry to say, not knocking anyone else's because there's some other great ones out there, but I think mine's the best.